that comfortable starting position, as usual for the last couple of weeks, can be wherever feels good for you. And we'll start, as always, with our scan of the body. So, starting that scan from the top of the head and moving down to the tips of the toes. As you take that scan, as always, that's without any judgment, just noticing where you're at today, noticing what's going on in your body, any of those places of tension, any of those spaces that need that little bit of extra love and care and attention today, and those spaces that feel particularly good and can be maybe taking up that extra half notch in any of our stretches, postures, or poses that take us into a space that utilizes that space in the body. As you complete that scan, I invite you to take any initial range or ranges of motion or stretch or pose or posture that feels good to get you started off on the right foot today. So, taking a moment and finding maybe that cat and cow, that child's pose to cobra, that seated spinal twist, that lateral stretch, that roll of the head and the neck. Maybe you bring it to that downward facing dog. Maybe you bring it to a forward fold, wherever you need to be to just get those first couple of ranges of motion out of the way, just to kind of get your body ready to get moving today. And we've got about 6 nice deep breaths here in that initial pose, posture, or range of motion. So taking those nice deep breaths in a way that allows that space for the lungs to expand through the belly, through the ribs, through the chest, and then allowing that extra little bit of release and relaxation with that exhale. So allowing the muscles in the face to relax, allowing the shoulders to relax low away from the ears, any of those muscles down through the core or the legs that you can relax. Taking 2 more nice deep breaths wherever you are, like I said, in that initial stretch or that initial range of motion. When you finish that second nice deep breath, I invite you to go ahead and bring it on over to that comfortable seated position. So, taking that moment, making that transition, bringing it over. As always, that comfortable seat can be whatever works for you. So, legs can be crossed or they can be out long or knees bent and feet planted. When we get there, we're going to start from the top with our roll of the head and the neck. So, that next big inhale finds that nice long spine. That exhale drops the chin to the chest, bringing that length through the back of the neck. And then at a pace that feels good for you, rolling that head side to side, right ear towards that right shoulder. As always, you can reach that left hand down if it feels good. And then down through center, left ear towards the left shoulder. That nice, easy side to side, finding that stretch of the neck, opening up through the shoulders, and taking those couple of moments to find that easy range. Go ahead and take it one more time in each direction. As always, feel free to find that third change of direction if you need to even out and hit that second side one final time. When you finish out that second side your final time, that exhale drops the chin to the chest. And then that inhale lifts that head back up nice and long away from center, keeping those shoulders relaxed low away from the ears. We're going to go into our lateral stretches next. So that next big inhale takes the arms out and up towards the ceiling. When you get to the top, take a moment, find that nice big stretch. Maybe those palms go up towards the ceiling. Maybe you just reach those fingertips up. Maybe you look up towards those hands. And then that next exhale brings that right hand down, that left arm up over top. As always, the palm can meet, keeping the chest open if you can. You can bring that elbow down. And then that inhale brings us up through center and then down in that second direction. Same as always, go ahead and move a couple times in each direction at a pace that feels good for you. So that nice, easy side to side. As always, maybe find a little hold if you'd like to. Maybe you move it with each breath. Maybe your breathing is a little bit faster or slower than mine. Wherever you need to be. Fabulous. Let's go one more time in each direction. One more time down to the right. And then one more time down to the left. That last inhale brings you back up nice and long to center, and then that exhale circles those arms down and around. When you get to the bottom and take your time, let's go into some shoulder circles, nice big roll towards the ears, and then down and back, just loosening up the shoulders. So we work through the neck, and you might have felt that stretch down over the shoulder. That's okay. Now we're just getting that range of motion. Go ahead and change directions. Same thing other way. Same thing opposite direction. Two more circles in that second direction. And then go ahead and relax those shoulders nice and low away from the ears. Before we get into our spinal twist, let's take our scan of the body again, starting from the top of the head and moving to the tips of the toes. This time, rather than just noticing, I want you to think about that little bit of extra release and relaxation. So maybe relaxing the muscles in the face, maybe the tongue can come away from the roof of the mouth. Maybe you can relax the core just a little bit. The shoulders stay low away from the ears. Maybe you wiggle the fingers or toes or toes and find that little bit of release there. Maybe it's down through the legs and you can bring them a little bit looser if you need to find that bit of relaxation. From here, we will go into our spinal twist. So as always, arms high or low. That first inhale takes us to that long spine, whether you leave the arms low or take them up overhead. That exhale takes us down in that first direction. Opposite side hand to that same side leg, same side hand around behind the back. From here, moving at a pace that feels good for you. As always, arms can come high as you come through center, or they can stay low and just trace across the knees. Moving side to side at that pace that feels good. As always, maybe there's that little bit of a hold. Maybe you like to move a little faster, maybe like a little more or less pressure through both legs. And just take it one twist at a time, finding that breath as you go, finding that nice final range of motion. Fabulous. Let's go ahead one more time in each direction. As always, feel free to find that second direction, that third change of direction to even up and then bring it back to center. If you are keeping the arms low, just relaxing the shoulders low away from the ears when you get to center. If you were bringing them up, then you can just go ahead and bring them down and around. Alrighty, from here, we'll finish out our little bit of a warm up with a lower body stretch. I'm going to keep that right leg folded in and take that left leg out long. Again, as always, you can choose the angle that you want that leg to be at. A little wider is just going to be a little bit different of a stretch. A little more down center, you might feel a little bit more through the back of the leg. We're going to come into and out of it 3 times. That inhale finds that long spine. That exhale folds into it. Fingertips past the knees towards the shin, the ankles, the toes, finding that nice stretch and choosing the profile of that stretch so you can keep the spine a little longer for that hamstring, or you can round into it for the lower back a little bit more. Next inhale brings us up to that nice long spine, just kind of releases that stretch just slightly, and then go ahead and take it back into it. This is 2 out of 3 for that forward fold stretch down to that left leg. A little shorter on this middle one. With your next inhale, go ahead and sit it up nice and tall. Release that stretch. Maybe you almost bring it even back towards that back wall. And then go ahead and fold it forward for our final time. Fingertips towards the shins, the ankles, the toes. Taking those couple of nice deep breaths when you get there. Excellent. That next inhale brings us back up to that nice long spine. And then we're just going to switch legs. So folding that left leg in, taking that right leg out long. Same thing. We're going to come into it now to bit 3 times. So that inhale to that long spine, that exhale folds us forward, choosing whichever version of the stretch serves you best today. Fabulous. Let's go ahead and bring it out of it one time here. Inhale brings us up to that long spine. Exhale folds us forward for 2 out of 3. Final time. That inhale brings us up, and that exhale folds us forward. Final nice forward fold. Final warm up, stretch, range of motion before we get into our flow. Fabulous. Next inhale, go ahead and roll it up, release that stretch, shake it out. Any final stretch, any final range of motion that you noticed that you needed before we get started, please feel free to find it. We are going to start off in our child's pose today. So making your transition, making your way over towards that child's pose. And as always, like I said, feel free to find any final range of motion for your warm up or grab a sip of your beverage on your way over. When you get there, take those knees nice and wide, take those hips back toward hips back towards the heels. There we go. Taking a couple of moments to find those nice deep breaths, release that lower back, let those shoulders find that nice stretch, that chest find that nice stretch. Maybe walk the hands side to side. Maybe you place that forehead onto the mat and circle the arms around behind the back. Maybe you bend at the elbows and bring the hands to the shoulders. Wherever you need to be to just kind of release into that child's pose for a few nice deep breaths when you get there. Go ahead and take two more nice deep breaths in that child's pose, taking your moment here. Fabulous. We're going to make that next transition to our cobra. So as always, bringing it up and over, pull those knees underneath those hips, press those hips down towards the mat, finding that cobra, or as usual, that baby cobra is a great alternative if the lower back isn't quite ready for that full cobra. Taking just a nice deep breath here, big inhale and exhale. And then we're just going to take a brief transition to our downward facing dog. So just to find that stretch here, curl those toes under, activate the core, press the hips up and back. Take this moment to pedal out those heels, pressing them down towards the mat, finding the stretch through the back of the legs, through the calves, through the hamstrings. Excellent. Next, we're going to take it to our low lunge. So three-legged dog first. Press that right foot up and back. Find that little stretch through the left leg. And then bend the left knee, sweep the right leg forward, plant it down. We'll take a moment in our low lunge. So go ahead and sink that left knee to the mat, top of that left foot. You've got those same two options we've had the last couple of weeks. You can press into it right here, nice and low, or you can come up halfway, turn those hips underneath, and press forward for that a little bit deeper of a hip flexor stretch. Either option is fabulous. We'll take two breaths in this low lunge. Awesome. From here, we're going to go ahead and plant those hands. We're taking it into our crescent lunge. So curl the left toe under, lift the knee, find your balance, your stability, sweep those arms up into our crescent. We're going to take a moment in this. As always, if you need a gentle bend in that left knee to kind of release the tension on the left hip flexor, feel free to take it. Maybe you sink a little bit deeper into that right knee to challenge the quads and keeping that core active here. So making sure it is pulled in and activated and nice and strong for us. Shoulders stay low away from the ears, even though we're reaching up towards the ceiling. Fabulous. Let's go ahead and just fold it right back forward. So fingertips come down to surround that right foot. We're taking it through our three-legged dog to our half pigeon. So if there's a transition that serves you better, feel free to take it. But I'm going to press that right foot up and back to my three-legged dog, and then bend the left knee, sweep it underneath, place that shin down underneath the hips, and then that top of that left foot meets. We'll take our two nice deep breaths in this as well. So feel free to sink into it if that feels good. Two nice deep breaths. Excellent. We're going to make our transition towards our kind of core front movements for today through our mermaid. So go ahead and bring it up to those palms. We're going to sink it down onto that right hip, circle that left leg into the side. So we're at our 90-90 first. We'll just take a lateral stretch in each direction. We're going to go in that easier direction down to the right first. So that palm and maybe that elbow come down. That left arm comes up over top for that nice big lateral stretch, same as we did in our warm up. That next inhale presses us up off of that right palm, nice long torso. Left hand comes down, right arm comes up over top for that stretch. Inhale brings us back up to center, and then just go ahead and bring those arms down. We're circling that left leg all the way to the front, bending those knees and planting those feet. From here, we're going to roll it down nice and slow and controlled. So make sure you have that space behind you, make any adjustments that you need, find your long spine, and then go ahead and roll it on down onto the mat. From there, when we get there, let's take one moment and just pull those knees in towards the chest, maybe rock it a little bit side to side. Maybe another spinal twist feels good for you, so you take it a little deeper and actually bring those knees down side to side. Just 2 more breaths. Either of those options is fabulous. Fabulous. Your next exhale just brings you back to center. And we're going to take those feet up towards the ceiling. So we're going to kind of get right into our core work today. We're going to start with a crunch still. We're working on our crossover crunch, so a little bit of a more oblique than just straight across that upper core. Fingertips are still going to start behind those ears, but rather than going straight up, I'm going to take my right arm and reach it to the outside of my left leg. My left elbow by default then is on the ground still. Back down through center and over to that opposite side. So that little crossbody reach, we're planting that same side and reaching that opposite side out to the outside of that leg. A couple times in each direction here, getting that core warmed up with those feet up towards the ceiling for the lower core and with few crunches for the upper core. Keeping it moving for about another 10 seconds here in this crossbody crunch. We got 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the torso back to center. Keep the legs up. Awesome. We're going to take it right into our leg lowers. So here comes that lower core. Hands can be out in that A-frame or under those hips. Feet come down through their range of motion and back up towards the ceiling. As always, keeping that lower back nice and stable. So wherever your lower back is naturally when those feet are up towards the ceiling is where you want it to be through the whole range of motion. So if it's a little bit of an arch off of the mat when they're up towards the ceiling, that's totally fine if that stays. We just don't want that lower back to pop up off of the mat while we're moving through that range of motion. 10 more seconds here. Keep on breathing, keep on moving. As always, if you need to, just decrease that range of motion a little bit. 4, 3, 2, 1. This time, go ahead and pull those knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a moment. Awesome. We're going to keep working that lower core, keep that tension there. We're going to do our double leg stretch to get us going next. So we're starting right here, lifting the head up off of the mat. Still keep the chin a tennis ball size space away from the chest. Our inhale takes us long in both directions. Our exhale circles us around to catch. As always, if you need a little less tension, we just take those feet up towards the ceiling a little bit more as we extend long. That's how you decrease that intensity. Lower is going to increase that intensity. Keeping on breathing, keeping on moving. Way to work today, you guys. Less than 10 seconds here. Couple more, couple more. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, pull those knees in towards the chest. Let the head and neck relax and release. Fabulous work. We're taking it to our bicycle up next. So starting those knees at our 90 degrees, our tabletop here. What we want to think about during this bicycle is I want you to keep those knees at that 90. So rather than pulling that knee in towards the elbow, I want you to try and bring the elbow up towards the knee as we extend that opposite leg out long. So fingertips behind the ears, extend one leg, and try and bring that elbow up. You can always come back to that 90 and then switch if that helps remind you to keep them at that 90 degrees rather than pulling in like we might in our traditional core movement bicycle. Keeping it moving right like that for a couple more moments here. That's kind of a tough one to train the brain to do if that's not in your regular muscle memory. So if you catch yourself pulling it in towards center, that's okay. Just notice it, take it back out. We're here for 10 more seconds. Keep moving, keep moving. You guys are doing great. We're almost done with this core segment. 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and bend those knees, plant those feet, take those arms out wide. Give yourself that little windshield wiper with those knees, that little spinal twist. Excellent. Go ahead and bring those knees back to center. Those knees are bent and those feet are planted. The lower back is nice and strong and stable on that floor. We're going to do 4 glute bridges and then 4 roll ups. So first, those glute bridges, nice and easy as always. planting those feet, pressing those hips up, little squeeze, little pause at the top, and then bringing them back down. 3 more just like that. Press it up, little squeeze, little pause at the top, and then back down. 2 more. Press it up, a little pause at the top, activating that posterior chain, bringing it down, and then that last one. Pressing it up, finding the top, and then bringing it back down, followed by our 4 roll ups. On the 4th one, I want you to stay seated up nice and tall and not bring it back down. So it's technically 3.5. Our inhale takes those arms up overhead. Our exhale circles those arms around with as little or much momentum as you need to come up off of the mat. So use the arms if you need to. Bring it up to our long spine. Inhale at the top. Exhale rolls us down. So there's 1. 3 more on the way up. 2 more on the way down. Pressing it up. Here's 2. When you get to the top, find your long spine. Exhale, roll it down. All right, this is our last one, all the way up, all the way back down. So bringing it up, nice long spine at the top. Exhale rolls us down. And then on this last one, we'll just meet up, seated up tall. So bring it up to the top, finding that long spine, and then you can drop those arms. Little spinal range of motion, seated cat and cow, hands behind the hips, open through the chest, press the belly forwards. And then you can either find that seated stretch for the spine, or you can lengthen those legs and bring it into a forward fold. Either option is fabulous, just depends on what feels good for you today. And then just bring that nice, easy front to back. So open up through the chest towards that back wall, and then open up the spine towards that front wall, or as we move towards that. Excellent, fabulous. Alrighty, from here, we're going to take it over to our hands and knees, our traditional cat and cow. So just circling those legs around, bringing it over to those knees. We've got our cat and cow. We're going to just take 4 nice deep breaths here. So 4 times in each direction. Belly towards the floor, hips up, maybe the chin lifts. Exhale, spine rounds up, tucks the chin in. 3 more, just like that, nice and easy. When you finish that 4th one, our next position is back to the start. We're going to go back to our child's pose. So knees can come wide, hips come back towards the heels, arms come out long. We're going to take about 4 nice deep breaths in this. So this is the perfect opportunity if you would like to grab a sip of your beverage or find any additional range of motion to do so. We've got about 3 more nice deep breaths here, nice and easy. Excellent. 1 more nice deep breath, making your way back to that child's pose if you came out of it, or just finding that nice deep breath if you're in it. And then we're moving to our cobra once again. So lifting those hips up and over, knees come under, hips go down towards the mat. As always, baby cobra is a great option. Little stretch for the core. This might feel good after all that core movement. Downward facing dog, just briefly for that stretch. Curl the toes under, activate the core, press the hips up and back. Take your moment in that down dog. Maybe pedal out those heels. Maybe nice and slow, shake the head yes or no, range of motion. Excellent. We're taking it to our low lunge on the opposite side from here. Left foot goes to our 3-legged dog. Bend the right knee. Sweep the left leg underneath. That right knee gently meets the mat. That top of that right foot meets the mat. Same 2 options as before. You can press into it, or you can come halfway up. Turn those hips underneath to face forward, activating the core, and then pressing forward for that just slight or intense hip flexor stretch. Either option. Fabulous. We're making that transition to crescent. So planting those hands, curling the right toe under, lifting the knee, finding your stability, sweeping it up. Again, if you need that gentle bend in that right knee, still feel free to find it, but we want that nice bend in that left knee, that nice long, strong core. Fabulous. Let's fold it forward. Fingertips come down to the mat. We're making our transition to our half pigeon here. So I'm going to go back through three-legged dog. If there's one that serves you better, feel free to find it. Left leg presses up and back and then sweeps underneath. That shin meets the mat underneath those hips. That top of that right foot meets the mat. We've got our 3 nice deep breaths here. If you'd like to stay up tall, you can. If you'd like to sink into it a little bit more, you can as well. Fabulous. We've got our lateral stretches next, so we're going to bring it up to those palms. Bring that left hip down to the mat. That right knee comes up to our side. We're going down to that easier side, to that left side first. So left hand and maybe left elbow come down, right arm come up over top for that nice big lateral stretch. With that next inhale, we press up through center. Same thing, second side. Right hand comes down, left arm comes up. A little more intense of a stretch here through the left side body. Fabulous. Inhale brings us up to center, and then exhale brings the arms down and around. From here, we're going to just pull that right foot around in front, plant that left foot as well, and we're going back to that core set. So rolling it back down onto our backs. When you get to the bottom, take a moment, pull the knees into the chest. Give your lower back just that little bit of time. Fabulous. Let's take for 4. Feet go up towards the ceiling. Fingertips behind those ears. We've got that crossover crunch. So hand comes to the outside of that leg, down through center, and then same thing other side. So find that nice easy side to side here, keeping it going right like that. We're working on planting that same side elbow and lifting that opposite side shoulder off of the mat. 10 more seconds there. Keep it going. Keep it going. Fabulous. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the feet up towards the ceiling. We've got our leg lowers next. Leg lowers come next. So feet start up, same as there. Hands out wider under those hips for more support. Here we go. Feet coming down and back up through that range of motion. Working that lower core here. Keep our lower back nice and safe. Safety comes first before the workout. We want to make sure that that lower back especially is not getting injured during our core workout, but rather getting stronger. Great work, you guys. Great work. 10 more seconds. Keep breathing. We've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and pull those knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a second. Excellent, excellent. That next movement is going to be our double leg stretch. Knees start pulled in, head and shoulders start pulled up. Our inhale takes us out long in either direction. Our exhale pulls us around. As always, those feet can go up towards the ceiling for that little bit less tension on the lower back and on the core, or down towards the floor for that little bit more work. If almost all the way to the floor is still not super challenging, take a little pause out in this nice long position and then circle it around. Keeping on breathing, keeping on breathing. 10 more seconds here, 10 more seconds. Fabulous work. We've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, pause, relax the head and shoulders. Nicely done. Taking it to our bicycles next, back to the oblique work. Knees up to our 90 degrees. That reminder that we want to stay out at that 90 and instead bring the elbow up towards the knee. Here we go, opposite elbow to opposite knee, other leg goes long. Keeping this slow and controlled, the lower and longer that long leg goes, the more challenging this will be. So again, a little less intense, those feet point up towards the ceiling instead of down towards the floor. 10 more seconds in this bicycle. Stick with me, you guys. We're almost there. We're almost there. We've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knees, plant the feet. Ooh, if you need that little windshield wiper of those knees, that final twist, feel free to take it. Fabulous. We're finishing out with those 2 sets of 4 here. We've got our 4 glute bridges and then our 4 roll ups. So starting with those knees bent, those feet planted, lots of pressure through the whole bottom of the foot. Press those hips up, little hold, little squeeze at the top, and back down. There's 1. We've got 3 more. Press those hips up, little hold, little squeeze at the top, and back down. There's 2. 2 more. Press them up and bring them down. Last one, last one. Here we go. Press them up, little hold, little longer hold. Keep them up here for another moment for me. Find that squeeze, find that activation. Press the back of the head down into the mat. Maybe the palms press down into the floor. Full bottom of the foot. Activate all the way through the legs. Make sure that core is tense. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, lower those hips. Fabulous work. All right, we've got those 3.5, 4 roll ups. So the 4 all the way up and then 3 times back down. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale brings us up to that long spine. Use whatever momentum you need to get up, as little as you can. Inhale to our long spine. Exhale back down to the mat. Couple more here. 3 more all the way up. Making sure you're using that exhale to propel you up as well. With that tired core, maybe you need a little more momentum with the arms. That's okay. 2 more on the way up. So this is our last one all the way up, all the way down. And on that 4th one, just go ahead on the way up. Nice and controlled. Get to the top, find that long spine, and then go ahead and drop those hands. They can come right behind the hips. We're going to that seated cat and cow. Again, knees can stay bent, and you can place the torso onto the thighs, or you can bring it out long into that fold. That nice, easy front to back. Fabulous. We're going to bring it on around to our hands and knees, cat and cow. So circling those legs around, bringing it back to hands and knees. Got a couple more minutes going here. Couple times in that cat and cow, nice and easy. Fabulous. One more time each direction. And then bring that spine back to center. All right, we're going to pick up our pace on our flow a little bit. We're skipping those 4 movements. We've just got a few minutes left to work together, but I want to just get one more flow in each direction. So knees wide, hips towards the heels, child's pose. Just one nice deep breath here. Big inhale and exhale at the lower back release with our exhale. With that next inhale, press it up and over, cobra. Hips towards the mat, palms down. Nice. Turn those toes over, activate the core, hips up and back down dog. Right leg, 3-legged dog. Bend that left knee, sweep the right leg forward, plant it down. Don't set that left knee down. We're going right into our crescent. Sweep the arms up. Warrior 2, when you find your balance, left foot down, arms open. Peaceful flips the front palm, lift it up and back. From here, we're cartwheeling down. Right hand, left hand up and over, left heel lifts, right leg back to meet the left, downward facing dog. Knees down wide, hips back towards the heels, child's pose. Press the hips forward, cobra. Activate the core, turn the toes over, hips up and back, down dog. 3-legged dog, left side. Press that left leg up and back. Bend the right knee, sweep the left leg forward, plant it down, keep that right knee up, find your balance, sweep it into our crescent. When you get there, warrior 2, right heel turns down, arms open. Peaceful flips the front palm, lifts it up and back. Cartwheel it down, left hand, right heel. Left foot goes back to meet the right, downward facing dog. Last time, knees wide, hips towards the heels, child's pose. Press those hips forward, cobra. Last time into our down dog. Curl the toes under, press the hips up and back. Bend those knees, step or hop those feet forward to meet the hands, forward fold. Find that little stretch in our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Find your flat back, your long spine. Release that tension just a little bit. Last time into that fold. Inhale rolls us up, vertebrae by vertebrae, up to our extended mountain. Arms come up overhead when you get to the top. Right hand down, left arm up. Nice stretch. Inhale up through center. Second side. Inhale up to center. Exhale, circle the arms down and around. Final nice deep breath. Palms meet up overhead. Inhale takes us out and up. Palms meet. Exhale pulls the hands down to heart's center. Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, I always appreciate having you guys with me. I will miss this class with all of my heart and soul, so I'm sure you will see me around. You will see something pop back onto your schedules at some point. But the light in me honors the light in you, bowing as